Hello and welcome to the Nathan Markley Show. And now your host, Nathan Markley.
Well, hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Nathan Markley Show. I'm your host, Nathan Markley. And happy Easter. Today's Easter. And I know a lot of you probably staying home, probably didn't have friends or family over because of this virus, COVID-19 thing going on. This, worldwide pandemic. You know, a lot of places have shelter in place, staying home. But, luckily we have technology to help us communicate and see each another. You know, if you're using like live streaming like I am, or if you have Skype or Facebook Messenger, FaceTime, Google Hangouts, Zoom, even though Zoom has security issues, but they've gotten better. What else? There's all different kind of stuff. Even just the typical old cell phone, talking audio. So I have some updates. Things changed. I use some different apps, different services. And for now, because I did that back in November. Yeah, back in November. So since then, since January, since the new year, 2020, I did some changes. A lot of stuff did change. Some stuff actually, two things changed. Everything else stayed the same, and I have some additions to it. Autism's Toolkit for Organization 2020 update. All right, so back in 2019, I said that I use different apps, different ways to help me stay organized and successful in today's society world. And the first thing was my email. I completely transferred out of Gmail. I now use my own domain name, which is nathanmarkley.net. So you can email me support@nathanmarkley.net and I'll get the email. And I use Fastmail for that as a service. And it's a paid service. However, they really don't track you. And they don't really... The only thing they read your email is for spam. Which every company does that because they need to read your email. Or look for keywords for spam. But that's fine. But they don't show you ads. That's one of the things I liked, and it's just I find it better. I use Fastmail for all my email. I do have my Gmail address active, but not looking at it every day. But that goes over to Fastmail, and I have like a filter, a rule that moves all the Gmail into a separate folder. So I still get it, but you should email me support@nathanmarkley.net. Then I also use Fastmail for my contacts. Oh, that's the app I need to download in here. So I could sync my contact. I found an app that I could sync my contacts from my phone to Fastmail, so it's backed up and synced. So it's like a two-way sync. And I like that, keeping that there. And I use Fastmail for my calendar, which is pretty awesome. So it's just like a business email, but it's personal. I think I pay, let's see. The plan I chose, there's three different plans. There's a $3 a month plan, a $5 a month, and a $9 a month. I have the standard plan, which is the most popular one, which is a $5 a month. And it gives me 30 gigs of storage per user, personal support. There's no ads, no tracking, nothing. That's one of the things I love about it. I can use my custom domain. Oh yeah, that was the major difference between the basic and the standard. It's the custom domain. The basic plan, the $3 a month plan, you don't have to use a domain name. You can use like Fastmail domain name. So it'll be like your name at fastmail.com or your name at Fastmail or whatever. They have a list of domain names you can choose from. And it's full mobile sync. Mail, contacts, calendars, has push, IMAP, SMTP, card dev, calendar dev, all the sync technologies that you need to get your email on your phone. And that's the main reason. We just talked about the phone stuff. The professional plan is more, with the $9 a month plan is more like for businesses that, because you can have like email, when it tamper-proof email retention policy. So keep your email for so many years. So if you have HIPAA or PII compliance, government, whatever, you have to keep, there's rules and laws that you have to keep documents and stuff. For even financial institutions, you have to keep like 7 years, 9 years, 10 years, whatever. You have to keep this information. So the professional plan was not bad. You could pay for the year. I think if you pay for the year, you get a discount. So because it's $50 a year, a user a month, because you pay by the user. And so like normally you do 5 times 12 is $60. But if you do monthly plan, but if you do every year, so a yearly subscription, you get a $10 discount. So it's not that bad. Oh, I think the $9 plan you get a bigger discount, because 9 times 12 is not $100. It's $108, and for 9 you get $90 a year. So that's not bad. And even with the $3 plan, yeah, $6 discount. So it's actually pretty good, and it's GDPR compliant. So if your account is owned by a corporation which controls other people's data, you can apply the Fastmail data protection amendment to that account. The other thing too is you can have different. What I love is, even though I have one user, I'm paying for one user, I have multiple email addresses. Right? I have my primary user, which is my email account, my thing. Then I have like support at nathanmarkley.net, which forwards to my main account, because it's called an alias, and I can have unlimited alias. Like I have a webmaster. Even Patches, my dog has an email address. It's patches at nathanmarkley.net. Because I have services that I use that. I have podcast at nathanmarkley.net, so you can email me at podcast at nathanmarkley.net. And I have all the other stuff. So I can have unlimited aliases. And even though I pay for one user, I can have so many email addresses. So that's pretty cool. And of course, with Fastmail, I can add multiple domain names. Like again, if I have a corporation, I can add and configure domain names for someone else. And it's pretty easy to set up and import from Google. Like I imported all my emails from Gmail right to Fastmail, and it just took everything over. It took all my contacts, my calendar, everything. Even Outlook and Office 365, iCloud, Yahoo Mail, Fastmail made it really easy to import that information. And then if I set it up, they have really great setup guides for your iPhone or Google phone or Android phone. Or if you set up, if you do use Outlook, because you can use Outlook and use Fastmail too, because Outlook's just an email client. Thunderbird, the Thunderbird is free. Outlook you have to pay for. Or Apple built-in Mac mail thing. Privacy and security, you have your two-step verification and secure passwords. You can do custom folders, just like a regular inbox email. You can have rules, because I have rules like I have my Gmail folder to this email address. So I know like Fastmail, I told Fastmail, so any emails coming from this Gmail address, move it to a folder called Gmail, and I check it like once a week or whatever. Because I'm like officially moving over to Fastmail, my own email. Then I have spam protection. I have a standard spam protection, but I can even go more aggressive with the spam protection. I can check that box, and it learns pretty well. And if I check spam, because it moves everything over to spam, and I always check my spam folder because it may get a false positive. So I tell Fastmail this actually is a legit email. Allow this email address, and now it learns. It updates the spam filter. So I'm learning the spam filter. And then you have vacation response, autoresponder. and then you can have your signatures. The other thing too, with Fastmail is you have file storage, because I have 30 gigs or 10 gigs of file storage, but I can potentially host a website of Fastmail. Like right now, I just redirected to host my website somewhere else, but I just redirect nathanmarkley.net to the website because Fastmail hosts my email and all that, the DNS. The calendar is pretty simple. I did actually, by default, it doesn't have holidays on it. I had to import a holiday calendar from this website I found. I think it's called US Holidays. So it's Thunderbird has a RSS or a calendar feed. It's called an ICS calendar feed that I synced from it, so I can see the holidays. And I could create an event, really cool event, just look at normal calendar. Contacts, just look at normal contacts. If this was for business use, I can have like a global address book that can share contacts with the whole business side of things. But I don't have that. And then they have a notes, I have a notes section. Like some email clients have notes, so I can add notes to it. And it's pretty awesome. I like it. The web version is pretty simple and easy. There's a sorts bar, sorts function, like a sorts email. Pretty nice. The app for my phone, it works really, really well. And overall, it's just great. So Fastmail is what I use now instead of Gmail. And I love it. I want to go back. So I mentioned the next item, what I said in 2019 was phone contacts. I originally saved my contacts on my phone, but then I realized that I can sync it from my contacts on my phone to my Fastmail, my email contacts. So that's what I did. I have an app. I have to reinstall the app on here. But just sync my contacts to my email contacts. So now, no matter where I am, it's synced. If I make change to Fastmail, it'll sync to my phone. And if I make change to my phone contacts, it'll sync to my Fastmail contacts. So that's what I use. I keep my contacts synced, and so that if I meet someone new or whatever, I have it there. File storage, cloud file storage. I used to use Google Drive. Then I switched over to OneDrive. In 2019, I mentioned OneDrive. And I still use OneDrive now. I pay for OneDrive. I pay for the monthly price, which is $199 a month, which gives me 100 gigs of file storage, which is pretty awesome. And I love OneDrive. Microsoft did a great job at updating their OneDrive service and OneDrive syncing to be much more better and responsive. And the OneDrive client for the phone and for the desktop app is much more better. And I had no problems yet. So I just use OneDrive. I put all my files in OneDrive. I can even lock it down. I can share the link. Like for instance, this class I'm taking this semester, we have weekly forums, and one of the forums, we just did it today, this week, because it's due later today, and we had to do a team forum. So everyone in the class, all my classmates had to do like a weekly. We had to do like one forum. So someone created a Word document, and then I took that Word document and put it in my OneDrive and share the link to them, because instead of us keep updating downloading the Word document to our computer and updating it, and then we could get mixed up with versions, So now we have one Word document on my OneDrive side, and I share the link, and they can open it, and they can edit it, and we can edit it together. Like I think we had me and a couple other classmates in it, the document, at the same time edited, and it worked awesome. I saw what they were working on, they saw what I was working on, edited it, making changes and all that, and no major problems. No syncing problems either. And they autosave. The best thing about having my files in OneDrive, if it was a Word, Excel, or PowerPoint file, it autosaves. And it has a version history. So if I need to go back to version, like, I didn't want to make that change, or what happened to this version, I can go back to the version because it's autosave, so it's keeping that version. So that's pretty cool. So OneDrive is great. Google Drive had that too, but no, it's Google. And I'm trying to get away from Google. I no longer use Google Sorts. Even though I have a Google phone and Android, that's not Google phone, this is OnePlus, but it's Android. I disable Google's Sorts. I disable Google Assistant and all that stuff. I use DuckDuckGo for my email Sorts engine because that doesn't track me. And I don't use Google Chrome anymore. I use Firefox. But yeah, so I'm trying to get rid of Google, as you probably noticed. OneDrive is pretty awesome. Okay, so this is the next change that I made. I mentioned back in 2019 when I did this, I use Amazon Photos to back up my photos from my phone. And because I no longer use Google Photos. And I have Amazon Prime, and I found out that Amazon has Amazon Photos with Amazon Prime for unlimited storage. However, since then, I found out, because I use Plex for my movies, so I have a Plex server and a hard drives with movies on it. I found out Plex can back up my photos from my phone and send it to my Plex server at my house, or the hard drive. So, I have the Plex app on my phone, which I don't. Nope, I had to put that back. Ooh, I had to back that up. So I download. Oh, I do have it. Oh, Plex server's not on. And so the Plex app, I set it up. So anytime I take a new photo, it syncs it and sends it to my hard drive, the Plex server at my house. So now, instead of my photos being hosted on Amazon or Google, it's hosted locally here. So it's more secure. So only I can access. I can share access to it if I want to. But that is pretty cool. So it's like I have my own photo sharing thing. So Plex is an awesome thing. I can also watch my movies and stuff like that because I've been ripping my DVDs to digital format, saving on my hard drive so I can watch my movies either via Plex. So there's an app for my phone, there's an app on the computer, there's an app for Xbox, and there's an app for Amazon Fire TV. So you can watch that. And you can also see your photos on that. So I no longer use Amazon Photos, I use Plex. And I'll leave that link below too so you can check out Plex yourself. Oh, I have to get this. That's in my back in the other room. Another change. I no longer, and this is a big change too, I no longer use Evernote. I talked about Evernote in 2019 and how I used to take notes, either on my phone or on my computer. And I had that. I use Evernote for pretty much everything. Since then, since 2020, beginning of 2020, I noticed that when I take notes on my phone using Evernote or just on my computer, digitally notes, I don't remember the notes as much as if I hand write them down. So I went back to the old technology use, I'm calling it technology, to a notebook, pen, and paper. Well, paper and pen, or pen and paper. You guys can get the thing. So I cleaned out my Evernote. I deleted all the notes. I made sure I transfer my Evernote notes to the notebook, and I'll get that in a second. And I have two notebooks, and I deleted my Evernote account. So I no longer use Evernote, and I use my notebook. And I also, for notes for class, I have a binder right here. Not CCI, but I have pad and notebook here. And I take notes right here. And the reason for that is because I found I remember everything I write down much more better. Because I'm listening to what someone's saying or taking notes, so I'm thinking about what I have to write, and I'm actually going through the motion of writing it. It's just like reading. I talked about this before in my, I think it's episode 4. Yeah, episode 4. Reading my book. Yeah. Study habits. So, yeah. That's that, I handwrite everything. I use a notebook. And we'll go get the notebooks because this notebook is pretty cool. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm back. So, the notebooks, right? It's called Moleskin. That's what the notebooks is called. Right, Moleskin. And I have 2 notebooks here. One for personal, one for work, to keep them separate. And I have a third one I haven't used because it's Amazon as a pack. I'll leave a link to that. And, like so my goals, it's no lines. It's line free. So I talked about this in the study habits too, an episode. But line free, I found line free notebooks is working pretty well for me. And yeah, and then on the back of it, I have put loose leaf paper. That's funny. But I have so much real estate, I'm not restricted with the lines. So I just keep my notes. Like I have a to-do list here. Questions, like different episodes and stuff I want to do for the podcast. Which I can cross one of these off to update Autism's Toolkit, which is episode 5, chapter 5. And this right here. And to do this and anything I need to write down and remember. The same thing with work, I'm not going to show you this, but write everything down. And I remember everything. So if I need to send copies to someone, whatever, I just, I can take a picture. One of the things I want to go back real quick. In my phone, the OneDrive app, I think it's the OneDrive app. Yeah. If I do get paper that I need to remember, like a syllabus or a paper, like an agenda or whatever I need to, I can open up the OneDrive app. And because I use OneDrive for business too, I'm logged in. But there's a camera icon here. And just like Evernote, it detects a document, right? You can see it myself. A document, a business card, a regular photo, and it says whiteboard. So it takes a picture of the whiteboard. So like in class or sometimes in meeting rooms, you have a whiteboard. And you can take a picture of the whiteboard. And it will automatically convert from a photo to a business card and all that stuff. So that's pretty cool. So OneDrive does that. Give me a second here. All right, what else do I want to talk about? And the last thing is the same thing. 2019, I talked about, I use Grammarly. Grammarly is awesome. It's, I think it uses AI to check for spelling and grammar issues in Microsoft Word, in your internet browser, then email, and Outlook, and Facebook. If I'm typing a paper or something in Word, there's an add-on, or even this Grammarly app on the website. You log in and it's a paper thing, and it just helps me write better. I'm not a strong writer. I'm better than I was before. I'm getting better, and Grammarly will show me misspelled words or grammar, sentence fragments. And it would not just tell me, like, it'll give me recommendations, right? It'll tell me, like, this is what it should be, like, the correct thing. But it'll also tell me why it's doing that. Like, it'll give me, like, explanation of why I should relook at that, why is a sentence fragment. And it'll give me tips and tricks, to help my writing better. And a new thing, too, Grammarly has added this. It can tell you the mood of your writing. It can tell you if your writing style is in that thing. Like if I'm writing an email or a document, it can tell me if it's a professional email writing style. If I sound professional, if I sound casual, if I sound, if it's like informative mode. Inform type of content. Inform type of content, yeah. So Grammarly is another great add-on. There's an extension for Chrome and Firefox, apps for your phone. Actually, the phone it's a keyboard. I don't use Grammarly on my phone. I use Grammarly for my desktop. And I have the extension installed on my browser. So if I'm doing a form, like for school, or if I type in an email, so it's up, either Facebook or Twitter status, then I have the add-on for Microsoft Office. So, yeah. That's pretty much it. That's a lot of the tools and stuff I use to help keep me organized. A couple stuff changed, To recap, I use Fastmail for my email, contacts, and calendar. I no longer use Gmail, because it's better. It doesn't track me, and it doesn't show me ads. I found it more secure. I do have to pay for it, but that's the benefit of not having tracking or showing ads on my email. I use Fastmail for my contacts, like I mentioned. No longer stored directly on my phone. It's stored in Fastmail. I just sync them back and forth. And I use OneDrive for file storage. And with OneDrive, I can share documents with people. And I can even really, if I no longer want that person that I share the document to look at the document, I can very easily disconnect that share, turn that sharing off, and I hit the X button and say, do not share this document anymore with this person. I can't. I no longer use Amazon Photos. I store my photos at my house. I use Plex to send my photos from my phone to my hard drive. So I moved all my photos from Amazon and Google Photos to Plex, which is so much better because it's here locally. Yeah, and I am working on backing that up, creating a backup thing. So just in case something happens, I have a backup, because you just need a backup. Amazon Photos is not bad. I do like it. I just want my own thing. I think for the normal consumer, like something like you guys, if you have Amazon Photos, even Google Photos, if you want to use Google Photos, you can go ahead and use Google. I'm not recommending it, because I don't recommend Google anymore, even though I have Android. That's the only thing I'm using Google for, is Android, because there's no other alternative. I don't want an iOS phone. Amazon Photos is not bad, and there's other stuff too, but Google Photos, Amazon Photos is the two bigger one. Or Plex, they're stored locally. And the sync is not that bad, as long as you connect to the internet, either Wi-Fi or to LTE. You connect to the internet, it syncs it. But yeah, I am working on backing that stuff up. And I no longer use Evernote for taking notes. I do everything paper and pen, the old technology, back in elementary and middle school and beginning of high school. Because I find that if I write it down, physically write it down, I remember it better, and I'm better off. Especially taking notes for class, I retain it better in my brain than typing. I found that I go through different motions when I'm taking notes versus typing and writing. Typing, I'm just moving my fingers back and forth the keyboard. I'm saying to myself I want to type, but I'm not actually going through the motions and making the characters, And for someone like me, and probably many other people, you guys probably have that too, going through with the pen and going through the motion, making each letter, your brain is still retaining that information. If you're saying what you want to say, or saying what you want to write down to yourself, or out loud, and then typing it, but doing them both, going through the motion. It's all psychology. The brain is very fascinating thing, and I can go into a whole different topic, another episode about psychology and the brain, because that's fascinating to me. It's a science, and I love science. I love how to know how this thing inside here works. If this is the processor. You know how computers and phones have processors? This is the processor. So I have to make sure this processor doesn't get overwhelmed. So these things help. I like that. Because someone make a meme or whatever, or clip that. My brain is the processor to make sure the processor doesn't get overwhelmed. I have tools like notebooks and pens and other stuff to help me remember, retain the information better. It's a backup. Actually, this is the processor. This is the memory, the storage, RAM, ROM, everything. Oh, that's interesting. What else? Evernote, and I use Grammarly. I still use Grammarly. Grammarly is awesome. There's a free version, there's a paid version. I have the premium version, and it's great. It really is. But yeah, so that is my toolkit for success for 2020, and it's been working really, really well. I have no doubts about it. I'll probably keep using this for over and over. And yeah, I use a combination of things, This right here is the new laptop, let me tell you. But, I do type Word documents. I did one time Word documents, but I like using my desktop. But I use this to quickly access material. But if I really need to do something, I use my desktop because it's more power. But you could do that. So yeah. So I asked this question in my last podcast. What are your guys' tools for success? What's in your toolkit to be successful, to help you retain this information, to help you live in today's society and world? Do you guys use the similar tools that I do? Do you guys have different tools? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Tweet me. Let's have a discussion. Go back and forth. And yeah. That's pretty much it. That's it. And this is great. And as you know, I'm always going to update if something changes, and always like to keep you guys in the know about this stuff, because this is something that I think everyone should know and find what works best for them to be successful in today's society. Again, thank you all for listening to this show, listen to the podcast. If you haven't already, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else you can listen to a podcast. And visit the NathanMarkleyShow.com for show notes and previous episodes too. All right, thank you again. I'll see you all next time, probably next month, maybe next week, who knows. Till then, peace, good night, and don't let bedbugs bite. Bye, guys.
You have been listening to The Nathan Markley Show.